Hello student, in today's videos we will discuss the history chapter first, the French Revolutions. On the morning of 14 July 1789, the city of Paris was in a state of alarm. The king had commanded troops to move into the city. Rumors spread that the king would soon order the army to open fire upon the citizens. Actually, it was the beginning of a chain of events that ultimately led to the execution of the king in France. Though most people at the time did not anticipate this outcome, and these events we will discuss in these videos. The French society during late 18th century. In 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family of king ascended the throne of the France. When Louis XVI ascended the throne, he found an empty treasury because long years of war had drained the financial resource of the country. Because France supported the 13 American colonies in their freedom struggle against Britain, and this added to the economic problems of the France. French society was divided into three estates. The first estate consists of the clergy, the second estate consists of the nobility, means the royal family members, and third estate consists of the common people, like the big businessman, merchant, court official, peasant, artisan, landless, laborer, and so on. The first two estates, the clergy, means the priest and the other religious peoples, and the nobility were called the privileged classes, means they have the special facilities by the birth. They were exempted from paying taxes to the state. Only the third estate paid tax. They also had to render service to the landowners. The population of the France rose about 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1789, and this led to a rapid increase in the demand for food grains. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, and this led to the substance crisis, meaning that in the situation in which one is unable to complete his own needs. Then, the 18th century witnessed the emergency of the social group that termed the middle class. The middle class who earned their wealth through an expanding overseas trade and from the manufacturing of goods such as a woolen and a silk textiles, and that were either exported or bought by the richer member of the society. And in addition to the merchant and the manufacturer, there were lawyers and administrative officials who were educated and believed that no group of society should be privileged by birth. They demanded an end to privileges. Philosophers like John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Montesquieu believed in a society that based on freedom, equal law, and opportunity for all. The outbreak of the revolutions. Louis XVI planned to impose further taxes to be able to meet the expenses of the state. And for this, on 5th May 1789, Louis XVI called together an assembly of the State General to pass proposal for new taxes. Each state had one vote, and the third state demanded one vote for all members of the assembly. When the king rejected the proposal of the third state, they boycotted the assembly in the protest and held their meeting in the hall of an indoor tennis court and declared themselves a national assembly. Finally, the king agreed to constitutional monarchy rule, and on 4th August 1789, the assembly abolished taxes and this and the lands owned by the church were confiscated. Then France became a constitutional monarchy. The National Assembly completed the draft of the constitution in 1791 in order to limit the powers of the monarch. And these powers were now separated and assigned to different institutions, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. And this made France a constitutional monarchy. Then Declaration of Rights of Men and Citizens. The constitution started with a declaration of the rights of the men and citizen. Rights such as the right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, equality before law were established as natural and inalienable rights, means that rights which are not disrupted by anyone, and these rights belong to each human being by birth and could not be taken away. The Jacobin clubs. The most successful of the clubs was the Jacobin, which got its name from the former convent of Saint Jacob in the Paris. The member of the Jacobin club belonged mainly to the less prosperous section of the society. They included small shopkeepers, artisans such as a shoemaker, pastry cooks, watchmaker, painters, as well as servant and daily wages, and their leader was a Maximilian Robespierre. The Reign of Terror. The period from 1793 is referred to as Reign of Terror. Robespierre followed a policy of severe control and punishment, and all those who did not agree with this method were arrested and sent to guillotine, means their head is beheaded. And next events we will discuss in the next video.